defendant was pointing the gun at the victim. From the looks of things, she was most likely demanding the storeroom door be opened. In other words, the defendant's objective was inside said storeroom. There was no need for her to go out of her way to move what was on the counter. As such, the tin pillars are hiding something they have yet to testify about. But the defendant is a pickpocket. It's in her nature to be villainous. Don't forget that the tin pillars are burglars. They're just as villainous as her. On the night of the crime, they may have been searching for something on the victim's counter. Ba 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 ba. If you believe the defendant is suspicious just because she's a pickpocket, then we should be thoroughly scrutinizing the testimony of those two burglars too. I agree. I would like to hear a little bit more of their testimony. Oh my god, he headbutted the desk. Does everyone understand now? Imagine all the wonders in the world of stereoscopic vision. Alright, there we go. We need one more. Which I'm guessing is going to be the maid? Oh, it's her! You've convinced me. When this trial ends, I will head straight to Regent Street to buy a stereoscope. Yeah! There we did it. It seems this trial is far from over. Such is the conclusion the jurors have reached. The vote of the jurors has now changed as a result of the closing argument. 2 vote guilty, and 4 not guilty. Thus the court acknowledges the jury's vote is split, and orders the continuation of the trial. We did it, Ryu. Oh hey! What's up, Iris? I should give you this. It might come in handy later after all. I probably won't need it after this, but sure. Stereoscope has been filed in the court record. Even if you have trouble crossing your eyes, this lets you see stereoscopic images without any hassle. Now, Lord Van Zeeks. The court orders further testimony from your previous witnesses. Accompanied by this fragrant scent, I shall obey. We aren't doing too bad. For now, at least we get one more chance to corner these witnesses. Until I get Gina a not guilty verdict, I will not let this trial end. Wait, to be continued? For serious? To be continued. Bum bum bum. Okay. Ba-doo! It's only been an hour and 5 minutes. If the second half of the trial, or if the next part of the trial is the same length, then that's perfect. I still can't believe it, I'm very close to the end of the game. Now, let's continue the trial. Witnesses, return to the stand. Alright, so we have Nemi, Tully, and Tobias, again. I trust you were listening carefully to his closing argument? Yeah, bruv. I might just say sod it and just go straight for finishing the game. If it takes 4 hours, it takes 4 hours, I don't care. I'll decide as I go through this, though. Couldn't keep our eyes off for a minute, bruv. Mr. Tinpillar. Yeah? Well, this is annoying. In your previous testimony, you said the following. Well, it all started to kick off as soon as we walked in, bruv. We couldn't even get our hands out of our pockets, let alone steal, innit? Ah, right, yeah. But now it's clear you were lying. Mr. Tinpillar. Yeah. On the night of the crime, you were searching for something on the counter at Hatch's Pawnbrokers. No, it wasn't, bruv. How'd you know, bruv? The court orders you both to testify further. What exactly were you doing when Hatch was shot? This time, tell the truth. Every time you toss another lie onto the heap, your crimes get heavier. One day, your mountain of sin may crush you both to death. You would do well to keep that in mind. We hear you, bruv. Loud and clear, bruv. Alright. So what's this one? The Break-In 2. Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, sure we had a rummage on the counter, but we weren't searching for nothing, bruv. Gave us an heart attack when that gun went off. That's when we knocked that stuff around, innit? Not being funny, but it was proper scary. The murderer could have come from the storeroom. We sort of tidied the desk, right? We sort of tidied the desk, right, and tried to scarp her. But then we ran into you lot, innit? Get it now, bruv? There's no way we'd have been able to shoot that shopkeeper, innit? Then you both confess? You really did mess up the victim's counter on the night of the crime. We didn't mess it up or nothing, bruv. Yeah, it's more like we gave it a tidy, innit? Well, if you want to make a thing of it. It remains true that these two men broke into the pawn shop with intent to steal. However, they did little more than get scared by gunfire, tidy up somewhat, and flee. What? That don't make us sound like baddies at all, bruv. Innit, bruv? Don't think you could do us a favour and make us sound a little more evil, bruv? I don't think it was a coincidence that these two were present when Hatch was shot. There must be something hidden in this testimony. I sort of really get why Tobias is with him. It's a bit weird. He's an accomplice. No. It's just strange. I mean, I can understand him bringing them to here, but to actually be a witness, that's what I don't understand. Yeah, sure, we had a rummage on the counter, but we weren't searching for nothing, bruv. We were probably searching for that disc. Why didn't you say so before? Well, you know, we're criminals, innit, bruv? Innit? If we run our mouths, people might think we're dodgy or something. We had no choice, bruv. We didn't want to add no more crimes to the pile. Well, next to your lies. I imagine you'll be adding a few perjury charges to that pile. That hurts, bruv. This is getting annoying. Innit, bruv? Witnesses. Tell the Crown Court why you ransacked the counter at the crime scene. We didn't ransack nothing, bruv. Bruv. Yeah, bruv. Really, we cleaned it up, innit? Alright. Gave us an heart attack when that gun went off. That's when we knocked the stuff around, innit? In other words, the gunshot surprised you. Yeah, mate. This one is a real scaredy cat, bruv. Shut your mouth, not being funny, but the noise was so loud, it would have woke up my dead nan. It was all like, wah, and then he toppled right over onto the counter. The pile of ledgers fell, and the candle stand fell, and that skull was rolling all over. A French doll's head came clean off, a photo frame fell over, his scale fell on the floor. Sounds like that in itself was pretty loud. Not being funny, it was so loud that even my revived nan would skedaddle back to her grave. Oh my god. In any case, that gunshot must have really surprised you. Well, of course, bruv. The world's all quiet like, and then suddenly, bang, innit? What? Wait, what happened? Why is he pissed? I'm very confused. Sure. What happened? Excuse me, Inspector Gregson? I already told you not to lump me in with these weirdos. That's not what I was going to say. You seem like you were lost in thought during their testimony. Is something bothering you about it? It's probably nothing important. I shouldn't let something like this bother me. I already know that. It's not like we'll solve this case by getting caught up in tiny details. If it's bothering you that much, why not just tell us? When we arrested these two yesterday, the Yard questioned them thoroughly. Their statement then and their testimony now are just ever so slightly different. Eh? Is it really, bruv? I'm sure they said that they heard the victim cry out shortly before the gunshot. Well, maybe we did say something like that, innit, bruv? It's just a small thing, I'm sure, but maybe. Maybe they're being deliberately vague. I don't think it's that far-fetched. If the court finds your testimony to be deliberately vague, I will have no choice but to consider a very severe punishment for the two of you. No! We won't leave out any more details, bruv. Swear on me dead mum. Hey, I just remembered something. I'm sure you did. You would do well to add it to your testimony then. Yeah. I heard you loud and clear, bruv, sir. Just before the gunshot, we heard someone yell... Wait. Oh, and. I thought it was like and over. No, it means hand. Hand over that gun. So, just before the gunshot, we heard someone yell, hand over that gun. So basically, the shouting and the gunshot happened around the same time. Yeah, you got it in one, bruv. To be more precise, we heard a shaky voice just before the yelling, bruv. If you don't want me to shoot... hand over that gun. Bang. Oh! Kinda like that. That was actually pretty good. Where did that voice come from then? Of course, it was from inside the storeroom, bruv. From the crime scene then. The voice you heard was Hatch Winterbanks, I presume? Yeah, bruv, of course. Of course, bruv. Who else? That means... you two could recognise Hatch's voice. Hey, come again, bruv. He means what he says, innit? Yes, of course. Oh wait, no. We don't know nobody named Hatch or nothing. I swear on me dead mum. We was just spooked by that prosecutor, see? So all we could say was yes. All we could do was say yes. Oh my god. If you wish to live another day, you had better testify honestly. Yes sir, bruv. Of course. Gotta keep this professional, innit? Of course, why wouldn't we? Don't want anything kicking off in here or nothing, innit? Wow. What a mess. Shortly after, there was a single gunshot from inside the shop. You two fell to the floor in fear, meanwhile knocking everything off of the counter. It weren't as bad as everyone thinks, bruv. We tied it up after, and... oh, next statement. That shop... wait. That shopkeeper was the one... what had the gun? He should have just shot instead of screaming. Wait, what? He didn't have the gun. Yeah, I'm not confused. I mean, if I present this, that doesn't seem correct. No. I'll try it. It seems like I should use the crime scene. Yeah, I should use this, the shop photo. I'll try this. The music did go off. Just to be sure. The victim Hatch was holding a gun, right? Yeah, bruv. Ain't no doubt about it, bruv. However, this photo of the crime scene makes one fact very clear. When Hatch was murdered, he wasn't holding a weapon. Eh? You having us on, or what? I'm very confused. So that was correct. I don't see... Okay, whatever. There is no mistake that the victim's gun is integral to this case. I can assure you that Hatch's revolver certainly was present at the scene of the crime. The weapon in the defendant's hands was undeniably that revolver. Yeah, that pickpocket nicked the victim's gun and shot him, bruv. And over that gun. Yeah, but it would have been shot in the front, not the back. Just like that. It'd have been shot in the front. Stay perfectly still for a moment, please. Hey? If the crime really was committed as you've testified, then there's an obvious contradiction. What? What kind of contradiction? Where he was shot. Interesting. Then go on and show us. Show us where the contradiction lies in the witness's reenactment. There we go. A report from Scotland as Coroner Hatch's death was... There we go. Single gunshot from behind. Whoop. According to these witnesses' testimony, they heard someone cry, "Hand over that gun," and then they heard a gunshot. And those sounds were almost simultaneous, correct? Yes. If what they say is true, then at the time of the murder, the two were facing each other. However, according to the autopsy report, immediate death from a gunshot to the back. Ah. In other words, there is a clear contradiction in your testimony. Oof. Quite surprised it doesn't knock that short one off the box. But we ain't lying or nothing. I mean, when the murder was happening that night, that uncle was holding a gun. We definitely saw it, bruv. You saw him holding the gun. That's what you said just now, right? Eh? Did we say that, bruv? These two have now clearly acknowledged it. That night, the two of them saw the victim wielding a gun at the scene. That is to say, these witnesses met the victim on the night of the crime. Oh. Oh. Oh dear. Silly geese. Order, order, order. Witnesses, what is the meaning of this? No, it ain't what you think. It seems the two of you didn't quite understand that warning earlier. False words will only spell out your death. Witnesses, you're still lying, aren't you? We're so sorry. You see, I gotta be honest here, but... Shut your mouth. If we talk, he'll give us hell. Who are they talking about? It would be in your best interest to fully understand the gravity of this. Silence is not an option for you two. Ooh. Tully, we can't keep stum about this no more. But You mean to say you still don't understand yet? No matter how hard you try to hide the truth, your lies will always be broken apart. At the time of the crime, the two of you had met with the victim in that shop. The court orders you to testify the truth. Ooh. Leave us alone already, would you? This time will be the last chance you two have to speak the truth. Ho! Very good. Encounter with the victim. We finally got to that pawn shop. Right, and he appeared out of nowhere, bruv. And over that gun. And he came flying at us so hard, I thought we was brown bread, bruv. He was strong for an old geezer. Managed to shove me right onto the counter. When I aimed my gun at him, the old geezer ran into the storeroom, innit? That's all. We ain't got nothing to do with the murder. Throw me dead mum, bruv. Oh my god. If I understand your testimony so far, you're saying you fought with the victim before he died? Yeah. But... we're sorry. It seems... the situation has changed dramatically. This time, I swear. We're really telling the old truth, bruv. We got nothing left. Now, defense, begin the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yeah! Encounter with the victim. We finally got to that pawn shop right, and he appeared out of nowhere, bruv. It's just time to press everything. By he, do you mean the victim? Yeah, bruv. Yes, sir. We was keeping a proper good eye on the entrance, but we wasn't expecting someone to be hiding deeper inside. Innit, bruv? Deeper inside? That would be the storeroom, correct? Yes, I do believe he came out of that room, bruv, sir. And the victim was already inside the storeroom when you arrived. Does that mean Gene Bean was already in there too? Doesn't that sound strange, though? If she chased him into the storeroom to threaten him, then why would he come out to the shop floor alone? Did you see the defendant at that time? The little pickpocket bird? I don't know, bruv. It's not like we'd really notice, innit? After all, that old geezer started kicking off straight away. Hand over that gun, and he came flying at us so hard I thought we was brown bread, bruv. It's like a tongue twister. Brown bread, bruv. I'm a bit confused here. According to your previous testimony, when he demanded the gun, he was still inside the storeroom. Eh? Did we say that, bruv? That means he was actually demanding your gun, wasn't he? Yeah. I suppose that sounds about right, innit? At that time, did the victim brandish his own revolver? Yeah. He just kinda aimed the gun at us, bruv. So... you're saying that you saw Hatch holding his gun, correct? Yeah, pretty much, bruv. How rude of that old geezer to just jump me, bruv. Not being funny, I couldn't tell who was assaulting who at that point, bruv. Oh my god. It's pretty clear that you two were in the wrong. Anyway, I thought I was good as dead, bruv. He was strong for an old geezer. Managed to shove me right onto the counter. Is this the same counter that you mentioned in your previous testimony? Yeah, of course, bruv. The pile of ledgers fell, the candle stand fell, and that skull was rolling all over. A French doll's head came clean off, a photo frame fell over, his scales fell on the floor. It's hard to imagine all of that happening because you were surprised by the gunshot. Well, to tell you the truth, it was more like he threw me onto it. If I went in there alone, he'd probably flatten me in under 3 seconds, bruv. It was around that time that the yard received an alarm signal from Hatch's pawnbrokers. There's a security alarm installed under the counter. The victim most likely activated it. Now that I think about it, when I ran outside to chase them, a police officer was already heading to the crime scene. Poor Hatchling. He was trying so hard to protect his little pawn shop. When I aimed my gun at him, the old geezer ran into the storeroom, innit? Were you aiming with intent to kill? No way, bruv. I just wanted to save Tully. He was getting flattened. Hatch was the one who needed help. So the victim fled after you aimed the gun at him? Yeah, bruv. He shoved me aside and shut the storeroom door behind him. I don't know what it is, but something feels off about that testimony. I wonder why Hatchling would run into the storeroom. Huh? Remember who was inside the storeroom? Gene Bean was in there waiting to kill him, right? I wouldn't go in there. Oh, that's right. But as the facts are now, Gina was threatening him with his own gun. So why did Hatch have it? Huh? That's a good point. Weird. This doesn't make much sense. I should keep this in mind. Anyway. Yeah, That's all, we ain't got nothing to do with the murder. I swear on me mum, bruv. You swear you have nothing to do with the crime? That's what he said, bruv. Cause that old geezer shut us out of the room. He locked it from the inside so we couldn't do nothing about it. We did try to open it though. But that room's like a vault. The thing didn't even budge. As you can all see, nothing has changed. There was only one person who could have shot the victim inside the storeroom. It could only have been the defendant, Gina Lestrade. I'm afraid I must agree. Do you have any objections, defense? Of course I do. I wonder, was Gina really the only person that could have shot Hatch? She was not. Someone else. There was like a little, viewing window on that door. That's how we saw the bodies to begin with. So it's not a stretch to imagine that somebody could have pointed a gun through that hatch, or through the viewing window, whatever you want to call it, and shot him. Mr. Tinpiller. You what? You what? Stop glaring at us. Your biggest mistake was admitting that you ran into Hatch. That's when this trial was completely turned on its head. Eh? What are you prattling on about now, attorney? The big question is whether or not Gina was the only one who could have shot Hatch. The defense believes that the answer is no. Fascinating. Then let us look at this sketch one more time. The victim died inside of a storeroom that was locked from the inside. What other possibilities can you make up in order to explain this? Defense. The court demands answers to the following 2 questions. 2? Wow, that's a lot. The first question. Where did the killer shoot from? And the next. Where was the victim shot? Understood? You gonna be okay, Ryu? I'm not sure, but there's one thing I'm absolutely certain about. If I can present a new possibility here, the scales should tip in my favour. Fine, let's have your answers. Use this floor plan to explain your theory. So if you claim that someone else could have shot the victim, then where did they shoot from? Right here. If they shot from right here, I believe the bullet could have killed him. Alright, on to your second answer. Where was the victim when he was shot? Here. The murderer shot the victim from outside the storeroom door. Continue. Hatch died instantly after being shot in the back. From what we can see of the bloodstains, the body doesn't seem to have been moved. In other words, there's no doubt that Hatch was shot in the storeroom. But the important part is where the shooter was. You mean to say that the shooter wasn't inside the storeroom? According to the Tinpiller's earlier testimony, when I aimed my gun at him, that old geezer ran into the storeroom, innit? Pay close attention to this part. He ran into the storeroom. At that point, the door must have been open. Oh. The victim turned away from these witnesses as he ran into the storeroom. When he was running away, anyone in the shop could have shot him in the back. Come to think of it, Mr. Prosecutor said something about that. According to the coroner's analysis, the gun was aimed slightly upwards. It would mean that the victim was shot by someone shorter than him, which would be both of them. Poor Hatchling got shot when he was running for his life. Oh, that's it. When you run, your body leans forward. So even if the killer was the same height as him, the bullet would still enter upward. Oh. That means the killer doesn't have to be a shorty. I find it hard to believe that you've already forgotten